So this weekend, I went out skating, and I was skating with 4x100. So I was skating the K2 R100 frames, and I clipped a lot. So when I was skating those frames, doing crossovers, the front wheel hit the back wheel, just me skating backwards, and I would just fall over. And that sucked. It was a real confidence hit. I was skating really good, I thought, for the day. I was skating really fast, and then just out of the blue, my wheels clipped, and I just fell down. And there's nothing that I could have really done about it. I probably could have done my crossovers a little different, but I'm really struggling trying to make 4x100 work. So what I wanted to talk a little bit about tonight is some big wheel options. I think 4x100 is probably the biggest that they make. They make 4x110. I guess 4x110 wizards are a thing. But 4x100 is so big. I feel like if you're skating that big, there might be other options out there. Now, some people like the 4x100. I don't think it's for me. So let me show you a few frames and talk about some options, and let you know what I plan on skating next. Something to look forward to. So first, this is the 4x100. So there are two options for 4x100. The first one that I was skating initially was the K2 R100. Do I have a 100 mil wheel? I do. Hold on. Let me get a 100 mil wheel. Oh, this is a 110. Here's a 100. All right. So this is a 100 mil wheel. You can see that this fits 4 of these. So this is a K2 R100 frame. It is UFS. It has an extra hole, I guess, to shift your, I don't really know why, to shift your frame on the boot. I think people want their frame centered, so I don't know that that really adds that much value. But if you're interested, it does have an extra hole, so you can move it around a little bit. But this is 4x100. Now, why would anybody want a 4x100? Well, 100 millimeter wheels are fast. And I'm not saying that the top speed is fast. Like if you're skating really hard, it's actually going to be a little more difficult to skate really fast with a 4x100. But the top speed is going to be much bigger. So the nice thing about these 100 millimeter wheels is as you get speed, they don't slow down. And you can always add more speed to the top speed that you've got, within reason, obviously. But I was skating the Wizard. So these are the other 4x100 frames that I have. These are the Wizard NR100s. 4x100 millimeter. And these are the Wizards. So they are slightly different than the R100s. They're a little bit shorter. They're a fixed rocker instead of a hexagon rocker. So you don't have any options with this. You skate 4x100 the way that they want you to skate it, or you don't skate them at all. So I was skating these at the skate park, and I really loved it. It was a really fun feeling skating, a bank and then a transition and then another bank. And you can really, if you jump over the banks and you just pump in, you can really start getting more speed. It's kind of like pumping in a bowl where you start fast, dropping in. And then if you climb the wall and you drop back in and climb the wall and drop back in, you can really kind of pump your way around the bowl. I was doing that in the skate park, and it was a lot of fun. I was going really fast, I felt, and I just kept my speed. And even when I didn't want to pump, I just kind of coasted, and it was fun. So I was doing that with the R100s this weekend. That is what the 100 millimeter feels like. For aggressive skates, there's really no compromise. The 4x100 is an amazing feeling, and I don't think you're going to be able to get anything close to that. But there are other big wheel frames to consider that are shorter. The big problem with these frames is you've got 100 millimeter wheels. You got 4 of them. So I've got this. This illustrates it well because it's kind of a white bottom boot. Put this over here. So this is the Wizard, which is the front. This is the front. So it slides in, And you can see with this frame how far these wheels go in front and in back of the boot. Now, that's not a huge problem if all you're doing is skating straight. But as soon as you start doing crossovers, and as soon as you start doing anything where your feet cross over each other, like swizzles or what are they called? Stunados, and anything like that, you risk having this wheel touch because it's extending so far out on that boot. Your foot, you really need to compensate, not only in the front, but in the back because the frame is so long. And I don't like that. I really like the feeling that I got when I was skating these Wizard frames, much more so than the feeling that I got when I was skating the R100 frames. But I can't risk clipping my wheels. Like for me as an old hockey skater, I like doing really fast crossovers, and I like being in control of my feet. And this feels like I'm skating with, I don't know, something sticking out the front and the back that I have to be aware of. And it is, it's the wheels. But it keeps me from being confident when I'm skating. And that's I don't like that. So I'm looking at other options, and I wanted to show you a few of them. So first, this is the Wizard. Let me find the other options. So this is another fun option. This is the Kaiser Level 3.1. This is actually a really great option. So this frame is, I don't know if it's a size or if it's the only size, but it's a 4x72 millimeter. It's actually a power blading frame. So it's designed for doing grinds and such, not just skating flatland, which, the Wizards are kind of designed for just skating fast, doing slides, doing airs and stuff. But this frame you can actually grind with. 4x72 is a great balance. And what I like about this frame is the length. So that wheelbase, I want to say it's 270 from 1 to 4. Let me get that boot out again. So you can see this boot is a size 10.5 boot. It's actually a fairly long boot because the rollerblade new jack has a skin on it. So the 10.5 is actually underneath the shell, and then there's a liner that goes underneath. But if you look at it, the wheelbase is pretty clean. It's right below where the toe and the heel are. If you look down, you can see the toe, you can see the wheels at the toe, but not by much. Maybe even not only. Maybe you can't even see them. But this is a really great wheelbase. And if you wanted to just skate fast, this is a really good option. What I love about this is that you can still grind a little bit. You could definitely do soul grinds, mizus, any soul trick. You could do alley-oop tricks, of course. Topsides would be difficult because, that frame is pretty tall. Royales definitely would be difficult because that angle would be pretty high. You'd have to get like that to get boot down. That's pretty low, at least for me. But I'm not looking at grinds. I'm looking at finding a good UFS frame that I can skate big wheels. And this is a really great option. Another option to consider is the Kaiser Aero. Let me find that frame. So these are the Kaiser Aeros. They are a 4x80. Now, a 4x80 is kind of like the standard for big wheel skates. Either 80s or 84s are what you'll see mostly. I know Power Slide sells an Imperial 1, which is a 4x80. I think all of the non-3-wheel skates that Power Slide makes, that FR makes, that Seba makes, that Flying Eagle makes, that Rollerblade makes, they all come with 80 millimeter wheels. 80 millimeter is a really great size because it's a good compromise between being able to be agile and skate quickly, get quick acceleration, but the wheels are big enough that you're going to continue to coast and retain your speed as you're skating. So this is a Kaiser Aero. It is a power blading frame. It is aluminum on top. It is heavy. It's designed for doing a little bit of grinds. You don't really want to grind with this. Again, I'm not interested in grinds with this. I just want to skate. The negative to this frame for me is that the wheel length is 243. So you take 80 millimeter and you put like a 1 millimeter, you can kind of see it in there. You could put a 1 millimeter gap between each of the wheels. So if you add it up, you've got 80 plus 80, that's 160, plus 80, that's 240, plus the little 1, 2, 3 mil gap in the middle, so you've got 243. It is as close to each other as you can get without rubbing, but that leaves a 243, which to me is not long enough. So again, let's take a look at my size 10.5 rollerblades. They're about the same length as the 72s if you look at the wheels, but the wheelbase is actually a little shorter. Is it? I might be wrong. Yeah, it's a little bit shorter. Not by much. This might be like 250 or so. The wheelbase is where the wheels touch. So the tip of this wheel and the tip of this wheel, between 1 and 4, that's what I consider the wheelbase. The longer the wheelbase, the more straight you're going to be skating. The shorter the wheelbase, the quicker you're going to be turning and such. Now, if you look at the wheels, the way that they stick out, this is pretty good, right? So, you know, it doesn't stick out that far. It's probably the same from the front of the front wheel to the back of the back wheel as the 72s. So this is a pretty good compromise. It's a little shorter though, and it's a little squirrely for me. The other option that I'm looking at, so this is probably the biggest 4x that they make. Now I think that Ground Control makes a 4x80 that has a slightly longer wheelbase. I think it's 270. 270 would be really interesting. 270 is the size of my USD Aeons. Do I have those? Yeah. So these are 270s. Actually, I can measure these and compare. These are 72s, the Aeons and 72s. You can see they're very different. So this is probably like 250 or so. I should really get a ruler out here. I don't think I have one. This is probably 270 or so. That doesn't help. Trying to find a good way to illustrate it. I think this is 270 though. So this is a size 910 shell. This fits 72 millimeter wheels. You can see that it's longer than this. They can do this because they don't have to worry about UFS. Here you can't because you've got the UFS bolts right in the middle. So this is probably as good as they can get. They might be able to push these wheels a little further out, but maybe only by a couple mil. They could definitely push these wheels out a little bit more. They could make those 270 and that would be really nice, I think. But this is like a 270 mil for 72s. This is a really great setup. I really loved these boots. It was hard to do groove tricks because this H-block is really tall. It's even taller than this if you look at it. It's about the same height as this. But I really liked these skates. I think these are really fun to skate. I actually might set these up again and just try them out because I really like that big wheel just skating around thing. Not doing trails. So I do have some trail skates that are designed for just going straight in lines. I like to just jump around and explore and do stair rides and wall rides and stuff like that. That's kind of the goal of this setup. So Ground Control does make an 80 millimeter frame that is 270 millimeters from 1 to 4. So it would be this, but it would be this wheel length. And that's really interesting. So I probably need to get myself a pair of those. Yeah, that would be really nice. And set them up on some Seba skates, the skates that I usually wear, and just see what those feel like. Now, the wheels will definitely stretch out more like the Wizards do because the 80 millimeter wheels at 270, they'll push out, what is that, another 40 millimeter on each side. So it's going to be a bigger, longer ride. And my wheels might be a little too far out, but I want to try it. It's something that I haven't tried yet. So that's my next purchase for frames, I think. I want to get those 270 mil Ground Control 80 millimeter frames. But in the meantime, I'm going to go back to 100 millimeter wheels. But instead of skating 4x100s, I'm going to skate 3x100. So these are the Kaiser Try Max. They are a 3x100. they fit a 3x110. So you could fit these wheels. These are the wheels that I used to skate with them. You could fit these wheels on. And there's nothing wrong with that. These were great wheels, and that was a great setup. But I want to try 100 millimeters. I think that the ride height is going to be lower. I think that the balance is going to be similar to what I get, and the speed is going to be similar to what I get with the Wizard frame. But I'm not going to have that long wheelbase. So if you compare this to the Wizard, oh, where did I put my Wizard? Uh-oh, there it is. So you can see there's a drastic difference. Let me put this one on the front. So you can see how much further out those Wizard wheels stick. Is that good? Not looking at the camera. That's an extra like 30 mil or so in the front and back. I think that would be enough, you know, and the R100s are a little longer than that. I think if I could get a similar feeling skating-wise with this 3x100 compared to the 4x100, then this might be a really great setup for me. And I think 3x100 has a lot of potential. Let me put it on the boot. So you can see what that looks like. It definitely extends out, but not very much. Let's compare it to that, that 72. So, so here's the juggling 3x100, which looks good. And then here's 4x72. So the wheelbase is definitely longer. Sorry, whoa! The wheel length is definitely longer from 1 to 3. There. I need a frame bolt. Dropping all the frames. All right. Let's do it this way. So the wheelbase is longer on the 3x100. And you can see that the wheels stick out more on the 3x100 by about as much difference as the 4x100 sticks out. So I think that this is a pretty good balance. I remember skating the 3x110s on the Kaiser Try Max and really liking them. I think that the 3x100s on the Kaiser Try Max, these are all rockered down. The Try Max you can rocker up or down. I have them all rockered down, so I have a bit lower ride height. I think this is going to be a really great setup. So this is going to be my next big wheel setup. I'm going to set these up on my Seba and give them a shot and see what they feel like. I hope to skate this weekend and give a little explore. I'm going to go back to the same office park and do the same tricks and try to compare it to my experience that I had with the R100. Because after that session, after clipping my wheels so much on the 4x100, I got so discouraged that I didn't want to skate them anymore. I feel as though this will be a pretty good setup for me. So I'm going to give them a shot. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll put a link to that video in the description if you want to see what they're like.